All right, let's quickly move into the newspaper front pages of the day before we take a look at our full bulletin here on SABC News at 7 o'clock. First up, we start with the business day. So let me have a look at that one. Transnet clean-out continues. Well, don't suppose it's a surprise because this is happening and it has been happening all week. The next one to go, Zimela to leave disastrous freight rail division. So leadership crisis at logistics company Transnet has deepened now with the head of rail division, Zimela, tendering her resignation. That was yesterday after just a few days of the abrupt departure of CEO Portia Derby and CFO Nkululeko Dlamini. This also happening last week, so a lot happening there.
In the corner there, Teflon bosses shrug off railway chaos. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Jeremy Sampson on South Africa's brand value. That's also something that they're looking at there on the front page, as well as the UNISA story with regard to UNISA being placed under administration, and grain prices in the margin there, and with regard to the weaker rand and how that's impacting on grain prices, also something that's on the front page, and the business day deals with this morning.
Yep, indeed. All right, so that's the big ones. There's just one other little tiny corner story there about the financial services sector, basically saying how war for talent in financial services sector, and Momentum sort of saying that they flagged lack of critical skills in the industry. So that's an important one, and seems to be every industry affected. All right, Sowetan, that's up next. So looking at the Sowetan, Pali waits on Messi. So nearly 2 years after the introduction of the bill to limit employment of foreigners in the economy, MPs say it's yet to reach them. And a researcher warns of an increase in the use of immigrants as political rhetoric after ANC and Gauteng's call for cap on their hiring. So that is their big story.
Indeed, and also just a few others with regard to the MTN 8. That's the big one. Sowetan will go big on that in the back pages. Wafa Wafa, the MTN 8 final battle lines drawn between Pirates and Sundowns for tomorrow.
And a beautiful photograph there. Those were the teacher awards that were held yesterday. They're held annually, and we can see Angie Motshekga and our Deputy President, Paul Mashetile, there honouring our wonderful teachers. Okay, that's the Sowetan.
Sure. Right, a pigsty, cops boot cops.
Oh, this, I had to look at this, that they've gone and they have emptied, we've had to move out of that building, right? This building is now no longer being able to be used by the Johannesburg. I think it's in the city. Here, let me read the story just a little bit here. So this building has officially been taken out. So it's the building in the Joburg CBD I beg your pardon. This is the slum-like Pretoria Central. There's another one in Joburg. So this is the story they're looking at. The slum-like Pretoria Central police barracks, I beg your pardon, was declared unfit for human habitation more than 18 months ago. Out of the blue, management gives residents just 10 days to vacate the building with apparently no alternative accommodation. So that's the pigsty cops boot cops. Can you believe it?
Yeah. And also, just before we move on, SPCA drowns in 1 million rand debt. I think that's an important story there, also on the front page of The Citizen.
All right. Okay, and then the last one we look at before we get into our news. Sorry, I beg your pardon, it's The Star.
It's a Friday, so there's one more.
The Star, of course, there's the Mail and Guardian, so The Star.
Yeah. So let's see what's up in The Star. A dream holiday to the Maldives that never existed. One of those again.
Oh, another scam, a holiday scam.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that story being outlined there on the front page. And also the second one there, you said you have the eyes. A catastrophic outcome if banks are allowed to close Segunjalo accounts. So those are the stories that they are dealing with on the front page of today's Star. Mail and Guardian?
All right, here's the final one that we've got for you, just one big photograph of a tap. And there's another issue.
Joburg is running on empty. The exploding population, neglected infrastructure, shocking wastage, and economic losses. Water shedding to follow load shedding. I think I spoke to Dr. Anthony Turton earlier in the week, and he was making that point. This is how we started with the load shedding story back in 2007.
And predictions have been there for years that we would land here, and we're landing here, and this is a big worry.